It's time for me to take a trip down memory lane. This is where it all started. Me going to a seminar with Jason Noah. Let's get straight into this week's video. Welcome to the 30-day challenge in August, and this month we are reviewing strategies every single day. And so what better way to give back with the first strategy I've ever started with, and this strategy is by Jason Noah from the Forex King. When I joined, he was still part of a team, himself, Easy E and Uhuru back then. Most of these people have went to go and found their own trading institutions to help people trade as price action traders, and that was perfect. In my experience from starting with Jason Noah, it was 5,000 Rand. We would meet up on the weekends for 2 days, and after that you would have a lifetime mentorship where they would help you with problems that you do have. Unfortunately for me, I left the group way too early. As one person, I don't feel that once we had the principles of what was going on, and in our trading seminars we knew exactly what to do. But for me leaving the group was the problem that a lot of people was basically negative. Some had profits, and all these things affect you because some people were trading on 15-minute, some were trading on 30-minute, and not just following the rules of what we were just taught in our first session. Okay, after our first session, I did go on to deposit money on the Monday. I was looking for trading setups the Sunday evening after our last session, and I ended up making $500. And how I did this was I first applied the risk factor that Jason Noah always speaks about. It's the 1%, trading with 1% of your account, so that you do not blow your account. And what I did was I took my trades up to 0.1 on USD JPY. That's why I'm using USD JPY. It's just to take me back down memory lane. And so I had $500 in profit. And on that Friday, there was something I didn't know about, and that was NFP back then. So I was looking at these volatile times, and so I did ask that Friday, what caused this to happen? And a lot of people said NFP, and I was like, what is NFP? So people told me, look, it's fundamentals of currency pairs. Okay, so let me speak about currency pairs. Forex is the foreign exchange market. If you're looking at CFDs, that is something differently. That's commodities. So Forex is basically the currency exchange rate, right? And every country has its own currency pair. And so what Forex is about is comparing two prices and making sure that you can also use that to trade with, right? And so every country also has those factors that you can actually get volatile times where the president would speak, where a minister would speak, and where some prime ministers would also come on and speak. And we know some of these like FOMC, NFP, RBA ratings, all those things are part of fundamentals trading. So that is what caused me to lose that $500 within 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes my account blew. So yes, that was my first mistake, and obviously I have learned from that mistake and made it my goal to start understanding the strategy. And after my first month, like I said, I'm not someone who really likes negative energy, someone who doesn't like it, because for me, I understand the belief of if someone could have made it with the strategy, I could have also done the same. So my process of learning, there was a lot of frustration. That's why I'm saying I get goosebumps sometimes thinking about where I've started. It was a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of times where I focused on the wrong things, and then in my third month I just said I'm going to start focusing on the higher time frames and listening to what Jason Noah was telling me. The second thing that I did was, while I was basically using Jason Noah's strategy, I did also start implementing new ideas and trying to figure out how the questions that I've raised for myself is, how do I know that the trend is going down? How do I know the trend is going up? If it is a false breakout, and so forth. And so in that 6 months, I was just mentoring myself and obviously helping myself to a better understanding of this strategy. And yes, I did modify it, so you guys are going to get my full detailed modified version of this strategy. And so we're going to start first by looking at the strategy. If you do want to know more, or you haven't, or you have skipped some parts of the video, please go into the description. We're going to leave the rules to follow, and I'm also going to give them to you now on this video. Okay, so the first thing that you guys need to do, right, is look at these wicks. These wicks are actually rejection points, and some of them, they confirm higher highs, higher lows. Okay, and that's what Jason Noah is trying to perform on these strategies. It's finding higher highs and finding lower lows, and also the breakouts of these trends. Okay, so let's look at this. So how do you know a confirmed breakout just happened on a trend? So with Jason Noah, you need to have at least 3 touches for a confirmed breakout of a trend, or you need 3 or more touches. If you are looking from the bottom side for a sell, you would use 3 or more touches to look for that sell, and from the top you're going to look for 3 or more touches to confirm the breakout of a buy trade. Okay, and so the second part of it is trading consolidation with the trend, and that's what Jason Noah's philosophy is about, continuing to catch entries with that trend. So if it's a buy trend, you can continuously look for buy setups with the trend. If it's a sell, you are going to look for setups for a sell. Okay, and then the third thing is focus on the 4-hour chart. Don't move any lower than the 4-hour or any higher than the 4-hour. It's the middle part, and it is the holy grail of everything, is the time frame. The time frame to use this on is the 4-hour. While I wouldn't suggest to go any lower, I know a lot of people in the past that I was in the first month of the group with was using 15 minutes, others was using 1 hour, others was using 1 minute. Problem with using those things is that if you are going any lower than 4 hour, you start getting market noise on the one side, which is from the 30 minute down to the 15, as well as the 1 minute. You're going to get a lot of false breakouts, even though you do get that confirmation of touches. And even if you are trying to use it on a higher time frame, you would not have the patience of holding these trades for weeks. I know some of you just don't have that patience to continuously wait. Okay, the factors that I would say, if you are starting with $100 account, focus on the major pairs that everyone is trading, that is USD JPY, Canadian versus the USD, JPY versus something else, but make sure that it's part of the major pairs. So just to highlight a few for you, we can see over here we have Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, USD CAD, AUD USD, Euro GBP, Euro JPY. As soon as you see these CHF trades, don't take them. The spread is very high. You want to at least have the spread be low, and that's why I would suggest you use major pairs that people are trading on a daily basis. Okay, so let's look at the strategy. So the first thing you need to confirm is the 3 touches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then you can take that trade over there. Okay, but with Jason Noah, what you need to do is you first need to find a verified trend, and obviously it needs to be on the wick of that candle, right? So this is the trend that we are going to trade. If ever you see a breakout such as this one, then you know that the trend is broken. You are actually going down for a sell. Okay, and if you do see retest like this, it says that there are sniper entries, so you could have taken a lot of trades over that point and hold it to the downside. Okay, if we're looking for this trend, we can actually see that there's 3 or more touches to that side, and so this would extend out that way. Okay, so like I said, in my 6 months, obviously this is late entries. For me, the point that I was trying to get is I would like to enter on the highest point and wait for these breakouts. That was my main objective in that 6 months, because by the time I caught my trades, this breakout, so what you always have to do with Jason Noah is that if you do find a breakout, right, you have to wait for that breakout to close. And over here we can see, obviously, like I said, fundamentals does play a big part in it. We can see that the breakout was from fundamentals. Once you enter, the market did go up, and eventually it went to go and close there. So after 4 hours, remember that Jason Noah is a trend trader, and obviously he's a long-term trader holding his positions for a long time, which is a swing trader. You guys can see that over here price decided to reverse, and what happens to your account? It is blown. Okay, so like I said, my main objective in that first 6 months is how can I enter on the top. There was a few people that mastered it, as well as Jason Noah, who mastered it in our class, and a few people also who caught those snipers. So I was just not getting that any closer to finding those trades, because what I would have done in the past was look at this like this, obviously, and let's make an example of this. So if we're looking for those 3 touches, so 1, 2, 3, here we can see we have 2 as a confirmation. So by the time you enter, you guys can see that you have lost a lot of pips there, but even though you made a lot of pips, it would have been nice to catch those moves down there. Okay, so what I came up with was, obviously I drew my trend line across like this, right, and I followed the neatness of it all, and eventually I started tweaking it a little bit all the time, so that if I do see a rejection there, I can take that sniper entry and not catch it over there. Obviously I did use that as well, but there was a lot of factors, so I'm not going to go into advanced training about it all. I'm just going to show you how to capture those snipers. There is a lot of modification I've done with this, but that is going to take a long time for me to explain, as well as your concentration span as a human being is not going to be that long with me. By the time we get to this part, you're already tired of me rambling on. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit like this. And so what we want to do first, right, let me just bring up a few more. What we want to do first is find the highest point and the lowest point. So I'm going to start from this side. Okay, and what we are also going to do is plot down key support levels and key resistance levels. Okay, so here we have our first reverse, right? So this would have been our highest point at that time. That would have been our highest point at that time. Okay, and when price came back down, we can see it reversed. So this would have been our lowest point for that time period. Okay, so I'm just going to plot it down like that. Done. So if you do find price coming back there, you can take those sell trades. A verified support level will not be broken the first time it goes there. It will go back to the resistance area or the support area to find balance before it will try to attempt to break it. On currency pairs, it always happens that way. I don't know why, but that's what I found in that 6 months, is that the pattern continues once, twice, and then boom, it will break the support or the resistance area. And so we can see here we had that theory, and we can see that price went down to this part, and then when it came for its second time, we can see it just broke through the trend. okay, just like I said. So what you need to do is, obviously this became our new high point. That's our new high point, okay, because this is where price reversed. So we know for the next time that if price ever came to that point again, it's going to reverse to the downside. Okay, very simple. And also with USD JPY, take note that when price ever reverses, it's going to come lower than the first low. Okay, so your lowest point will always be broken by USD JPY. Your highest point will always be broken by USD JPY. It's just to trap traders most of the times with USD JPY. So then after that, let's just enter this. So this is one of the lowest points, and if we verify this on the daily, was it used? Again, we can see there it was used as a resistance. Here we can see it was used as resistance, and if we're looking over here, it was used as support. Here we had it used as support and then resistance, and then over here we used it as a support level. So you guys can see that if you are plotting down these low points, they were once used, and so they're going to be used again multiple times in this that you are using. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. And so here we have what we need, but the last one for me to do is just to look for smaller resistance levels and where they touched as much as I'm looking for. So yes, they will touch you if you're counting over. So I'm just using the same implementation of what Jason was using, and that is a verified resistance to me or a verified support level to me would mean that there must have been 3 or more touches to that side, and so it will be something that I look at. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me go back to the 4 hour. Forgot I'm on daily. So let's zoom out. So let's look over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So already it tells me it's a proper support level or proper resistance level. If we're looking at the bottom side of this, we can see there's more touches, so it's a verified support level to me. Okay, could be different to you, but for me that's how I looked at it. Okay, so if you do find a high point, why are we finding the highest point? And this was the question that many people raised in our discussions: how to find the trend, when to look for the trend. And so what I did was I looked for the lowest point and where that key reversal level is, and I figured out that once the lowest point was found, the next thing is to find the highest point. And when you find the highest point, you know exactly the target that you are looking for in this trading, right? So from this point onwards, you're going to look for a target of where our lowest point was before, and this was our lowest point. So this would have been your take profit level for all the trades that you are going to scale in using the Jason Noah strategy. Okay, so you guys can see over there, we had our target reached, and then from that point onwards, like I said to you, it will always try to go lower or it will always try to go higher. Okay, and so here we had that low being broken, and so obviously that's a new key reversal point. So all you guys are going to do is highlight it and make sure that you have it highlighted so that you know where is your target. Okay, and then obviously the highest point for this session was here, and so let's see if it was broken. We can see that it was broken when price came to this point. Okay, so you guys can see there it almost came to it, and then it went back down, and then eventually it came to that point. Okay, so verified. And then we had a new high point over here, so we are just highlighting it, and if we look on the daily, it was used before. So you guys can see that all these high points, they are always used, and so that's the information I really wanted to obtain to know when to catch those snipers. Okay, so let me just insert this as our new high point. Sorry about the long explanation, but it's important with price action. You always have to give, sometimes it's like 2 hours, but I'm going to try and break this down to you very quickly. So here we have a highest point. We can see that the trend is moving downwards. So where is your target? Your target is your new lowest point, which is over there. Okay, so even though we've seen that this is a buy trade because it is by a supported level and it was respected once, we know that on the second time it can be broken, so it might just move down or it might just move up to that side. So that's basically what I was looking for, the highest point and the lowest point. Okay, so let me just highlight these levels because I want to explain to you why we are highlighting, because Jason Noah's theory on forex as well is the consolidation period that you guys will be looking for. There's always going to be a consolidation with Jason Noah's strategy, and that is your opportunity to continue scaling into the trades, to continue adding more trades to the trade. So with this one, because we don't have previous data, we're just going to move it on to that side, because once it's at our lowest point, we are looking at that as our target for the next set of buy trades. Okay, so I'm just moving it that side so that we know. Okay, if you want to, you can actually change the colors and say like, look, whenever price gets to this point, this is where I'm exiting. And then for your other ones, like your support and reversal levels that you have in between those, you can use that as a different color. Okay, so for these ones below, we are just going to use it as the yellow, we would say, is our key support and resistance level. So I just want to draw them in quickly so that you know exactly what to do. Okay, so let me just drag this over and change the color. Just change the color. Let's make this red as well, just to know that that is our new low point. And so now we can begin. Okay, so another thing is, if you don't want your chart to look that untidy, you can delete these lines once you have found your lowest point, your highest point, as well as those in between levels of support and resistance, and so that it can look much more cleaner. Now you can see it looks cleaner without those lines. Okay, so what are you looking for? What am I looking for in this set of trades? What am I looking for? That's what your question should be when you are analyzing all the time. It's the trend of the market. Okay, here we had this low, right? And once this low was created, you need to look for the next high point. And so here is our new high point, right? And so the theory behind this is, you are actually saying, if I ever look for a signal, my target for the sell trade would be to the new low that was created, the lowest point in that market. Now, in between these levels, you're also going to have points of rejection, right? That's a form factor. You're never going to have a market that is moving up like that and a market that's going to go back to your lowest point like that. It's never going to happen. We know for a fact that forex moves in a zigzag pattern, right? We know that forex moves in a zigzag pattern, and that's the one thing you guys should know, is that forex is always going to move in a zigzag pattern like that. It's never just going to be a ride smoothly up to the upside or smoothly down to the downside. It's never going to happen, right? And why is this happening? So that it's easier for the broker to allow you to take those early exits. I mean, those early exits. It's for them to trap you into the market, and sometimes if you do have a lock profit, it's for them to give you the profit, the less profit on the chart, right? That's what they're doing. They're going to make sure that you are looking for points of, look, this market is not going in the right direction, I need to leave. That's what they are doing. They're going to do it all the time, over and over again, right? They're not going to move it as smoothly as you would like them to move it. It's never going to happen. Okay, So what you need to do after this, right? So now you have your key support levels, you have your key reversal levels, so forth. Okay, so now the next thing is, what is the trend? Where is the biggest reversal? So if you're looking at this side coming up here, this was the biggest reversal level. Okay, so I'm skipping that part because you guys can see where it went, right? So here we had our target reached, and now we at this lowest point. Okay, always update your charts if there is a new high or a new low. Okay, very important that you take note of those low and those high points. Okay, very important. So from this point onwards, our target is to go back there, right? And so this is where Jason's theory comes into play. So what you're going to do, right, because you know the market is going up, is look for the standout wicks that are out, right? Look for the new low points, look for the new high points. Okay, now for us, we know that we're going to the upside and our target is to reach this point. Okay, so you can see that these ones are there, but if we're drawing them over, we can see a lot of false breakouts, right? How many traders didn't decide to take that sell? How many traders didn't decide to take that sell? How many traders didn't decide to take that sell? Why? Because they don't know where is the target for the brokers to go, right? So what you want to do is keep it clean, keep it neat, make sure that you have those 3 touches always going to the upside. It doesn't have to be as neat as presented. It doesn't have to be as neat as Jason is presenting it. And why I say so is because when you are looking for these trades, it's not always going to look as Jason's chart looks, right? You need to be more realistic that the market is not going to always come back to those candlesticks, right? So if we're drawing it like this, we're saying on a support level on these trend lines is that when price comes here again, my third touch will be somewhere around there. And so what happens, we can see there's a false breakout there. So make sure that you keep it as neat as possible. So if you can draw it like that, it's just to erase false breakouts from coming into what you are trying to do. Okay, make sure that you are working on that. So what you want to notice also is that you can have more entries than you think you can have. Okay, so for a breakout on this side, obviously the trend would be much more clean if it was like that, right? But if we're looking across this way, we are saying that when it gets to this low, we are just waiting for a breakout to occur. And so the breakout happens over there, so you could have taken that buy trade, and once price breaks this trend, you are waiting for a retest on this side. When the retest occurs, you could have taken a buy trade. Okay, why do I say so? Because it's not always going to be based on theory, because we're saying that after 3 touches you can take a trade. This is an unverified 3 touch. Look at what I'm saying. So you guys can see that by the time you caught that trade, you are already late. Okay, even though it does show a lot of resistance, you guys can see that you could have caught it over there. Okay, so make sure of that. So how would you use Jason Noah's strategy with this is look for key places of consolidation. He calls it consolidation when the market is rejecting price or moving in a downward momentum while it's still on the buy trend. Okay, so here we have one of that, and we can see that price broke over there. So what you want to do is look at these levels that I've given you and take those buy trades over there, so that whenever you see a trend breakout, you can take that trade, but you are leveraging from the trades you have taken earlier. It just helps that you have taken those trades earlier, so that if you ever see a reversal, at least these trades that you are taking from the breakout is that they are helping your account over here. So whenever this consolidation phase comes again, you are still in profit. Okay, because these ones would be more lower than these ones that you are taking with the breakout. Okay, so 3 touches over there is 3 or more touches. If you're looking across in here we have 3 or more touches. Notice that these trades didn't touch our zone, so you don't have to take a buy trade there. just focus on these buys here. There you have a buy there. Here we had it cross over, consolidation phase. So all you're going to do is draw in that and look for the 3 touches all the time. Okay, here's another one, 3 times. Okay, here's another one, 3 times. Okay, and then it reaches our highest point. So we could have put that in as well, just to see if it's going to break. It does break and it went up, so you could have taken a buy. Obviously your exits would not be confirmed because you don't know where's the new reversal high going to happen. So when the trend breakout happens, look how late it is with the Jason Noah strategy. But if you knew that, look, price is coming to my highest point, I could have taken a sell there or a sell here. Now you are in the market, and then once the trend is broken, now you can start looking for those sell trades with Jason Noah's strategy, right? So you want to be earlier than later. So whenever a new high is broken, right, or a new low is broken, just know that price is just making a brand new high, and then take those sell trades. And then once you get to the trend, obviously, which is this here, once this trend is broken, you know you are in a sell trend, right? You are going to the downside. So all you're going to do is draw your sell trend to the target that you are expecting this market to move to, and that's to this point, right? And so when price comes over, we need that consolidation phase. So by the time you enter, it would be late. So if you add this onto your chart, you would have the first sniper entry. Here is Jason Noah's trend coming in, so you guys can see there's 3 touches over there. There's your breakout. You have a sell. We're at a support level, so we know that price might consolidate. Here we had it break there. So important for you also to notice how long it takes these candles to move. If it's so small, don't worry about it, because it's not that much of interest. We want those longer stretches. So there's a long stretch. You guys can see another sell trade, right? Then over here, it's not that long stretch. Don't focus on it. Always focus on the length of how long it moved down, how long it continuously moved down. If you're just going to look for all the trades, you can even do this, you know, you can do that. You can do this. But the problem there is now you're entering at false places. You need that stretch of the market. So if it's moving slowly down, it means like if you pull a catty, or you know, like a catty that you pull with stone in it, if you pull the catty for a longer period of time, the momentum of it moving up is much faster. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this one. Slow movement up. Okay, so please make sure that you're looking for those stretches of the move. So here we have a stretch. You guys can see, look how fast they move up. That's the point that I'm trying to make. The more momentum it's pulling, or the longer it's pulling that momentum, you're going to have much faster results. Okay, so look at this one compared to this one. Look at this one compared to this one. So you guys can see what I'm saying. Look for that long drawbacks, or look for that long consolidation phases, so that when you do enter, it's going to be a longer period. Okay, so this is the modified version of Jason Noah's strategy. If you still don't understand, please watch it again and again and again. It does take a lot of time to actually grasp price action information. Okay, with indicators it's much easier because you're just looking for buys and sells. I hope this strategy helps you in the future, and I hope that you're implying every single day. Make sure you're practicing your support and resistance. Make sure you're practicing those 3 touches. Make sure that you are looking for those long drawbacks so that you can make beautiful profit with this strategy. That's it from me, Monty Vino Valentine from Pride.